Our prayers have been answered. What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. And listen, we've got some good news today. I don't know. But before we start, a word from our sponsor. This video is being sponsored by BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook. BetUS is the only sportsbook that is offering a 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. You are not getting a better deal than that on any market. So sign up today and get on these future odds before the season even starts. Before the Giants play the Texans in the preseason, Malik Neighbors was a whole plus 1,500 to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. After the game, it went down to plus 1,000. So hurry up and take advantage of this bet, because the more that Malik Neighbors starts to show off that skill, the less that number is going to be. Right now, I'm going to take that bet to the house, and I'm going to be hoping that Malik Neighbors wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. And listen, this won't be the first time a Giants wide receiver from LSU wins that award. Best of luck to everybody, and make sure you bet responsibly. So the Giants just finished, and I mean within minutes of me making this video, it'll be out later on, but within minutes of me making this video, the New York Giants have brought back Adoree Jackson. Now, there is going to be some mixed feelings, but you know what? Something is better than not doing anything. If you guys haven't been paying attention on my channel or followed me on the NFC East Roundtable, I have been complaining and crying basically about how the New York Giants are handling the secondary situation. Now, there were some questions that were presented to Joe Schoen in his presser, and he seemed noticeably upset.
So how do you feel with your cornerback 2 position right now? Because that's a position people thought you might be looking to add. How do you feel with what you have at outside corner opposite?
Yeah, I feel good with it.
He knows, and the rest of the front office know, the coaching staff knows, everybody and their grandmother knows that this secondary is not up to par. It is not good. It is not in day one shape at all. Now, is that to say that the secondary is absolutely garbage, like they're just bad players? No. What the problem is that there are too many young, inexperienced players who are still trying to figure it out for themselves. You've got Deonte Banks, who the Giants drafted 2 years ago in the 2022 draft, and the 2023 draft, and they are still trying to figure out if he's even a cornerback 1. He's shown a lot of flashes. He had a good season as a cornerback 2. I think it was a cornerback 2, and then like a transition to cornerback 1 later on when Adoree got hurt. But he seemed like he was okay there, but it just wasn't like anything spectacular. He didn't have like a Pat Surtain first season where he's automatically looked at as a dangerous cornerback 1 and a guy that you don't want to throw to. Deonte Banks, on the other hand, has been showing good coverage, but it seems like when the ball is thrown, wide receivers just always have a chance for the ball, and that's just very concerning. But besides that, the cornerback depth is very, very slim. Throughout the entire camp, it's pretty much been a battle for cornerback 2 between Nick McCloud and Cordell Flott. These are 2 players that nobody thought would be starting as of right now at this point in the season, or be looked at as like actual starters. Instead, they were looked at as depth players. Cordell Flott was a guy that compete in the slot, and Nick McCloud was always used as some like a special teamer or some sort of relief cornerback that he would come in for a couple plays. But having those 2 in competition to start is just telling about where this secondary is as a unit. Now, I don't doubt Andrew Phillips, the rookie that the Giants drafted in the 3rd round this year, is a big upgrade to what the Giants were dealing with last year with the mix of Cordell Flott and Darnay Holmes. However, he is still a rookie, and cornerback is one of the hardest positions to translate in the NFL, because sometimes rookie corners are just picked on over and over and over again, and they can never get the right footing in the NFL. So that position needs desperate help. The front 7 looks great, but they could only do so much for the defense if the coverage isn't great downfield. You can't get to the quarterback, 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds every single snap. So bringing back Adoree Jackson was probably the most obvious move the Giants had to make at this point in the season. They had a chance to go ahead and draft a cornerback for the outside in this draft. They looked for guys like Kool-Aid McKinstry and Kamari Lassiter. However, those teams like the Saints and the Texans had draft selections before the Giants, and they were able to scoop them up before the Giants had a chance to grab a corner. In fact, about 4 or 5 corners started coming off the board left and right before the Giants had an ability to pick. You can argue that they should have been more aggressive with that pick, but they only had about 4 picks to work with in that draft. Besides the first round and second round picks, they didn't have much to work with other than that. So you could argue that maybe they just didn't have enough capital to move up. But here we are. Now, I'm not happy with the job that Joe Schoen has done providing for this secondary. I know that he definitely did a lot in this offseason, providing pieces for the offense, especially the offensive line. And then you go to the defensive line by adding Brian Burns in there. And seems like you got a good mix of good players in there for the front 7. Secondary definitely needs a lot more attention. Hopefully Adoree Jackson coming back would be some sort of band-aid. He was not great last year in the times that he wasn't hurt. Let's just hope that he doesn't get hurt for the most part. He has been dealing with a couple of injuries, especially with us, and I just hope that he remains healthy, because right now he's the best option that we have, and it sucks that he spent the entire offseason not on the Giants roster when he was just sitting there waiting to be picked up by us. And the entire fan base, especially on Twitter, was like, listen, Adoree is still out there. Why haven't we made a move? He hasn't been picked up by another team. He's just literally sitting on his couch. They're going through a whole new defensive playbook that he is not being involved in. Now we are 1 week away from the NFL season starting, and now we decide to sign Adoree Jackson. I don't know what the wait was for. I don't know what the problem was. We knew that having a competition with Nick McLeod, Trey Hawkins, and Cordell Flott was never going to work. Never. So if you ask me, this was a prayer. I said it on Twitter, day 89 of me asking and praying for the Giants to find a cornerback too, and I sent it today. So they found out, they got themselves a number 2 corner. But listen, I don't think this position has been filled yet. I think this is just a band-aid. I think next year, depending on where the Giants are in the draft, next year we really need to be looking for another corner. Like, I don't care if he's better than Deontay. I would be looking for a cornerback 1. Like, I would go out there in the first round next year and draft a cornerback 1, and maybe Deontay Banks is a cornerback 2. That would not be a problem. We drafted Deontay Banks with the 25th pick in that draft. Okay, so or 25th or 24th or something like that. That's fine to have a number 2 corner as your 24th pick in the draft. And nowadays, you need as much corners as you can get. I don't care. But if the Giants aren't in position to get a quarterback in next year's draft, if things are looking on the up and up and they have a later round pick, cornerback is definitely first on my list in next year's draft. But that is the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you like the Adoree Jackson signing, or did you see someone else on the waiver wire that you wanted the Giants to pick up? There were a couple of guys out there like Desmond King and CJ Henderson, a couple of veteran names, but Adoree just seems like the best fit right now. All that being said, thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this video. We will be back soon. I may do a live stream later on this week, maybe the weekend. I don't know. Maybe Monday, because I'm off and it's Labor Day. Maybe we want to hang out and watch some videos, watch some Giants videos. But that being said, I am KB, and I will see you guys in the next video. Woo!